Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. This is one of the most patient human beings on my radar right now. The one and only Kevon Miller is here with ZenAssist,
Hello.
and we have been trying to set this up, and it has been my schedule that has screwed up the majority of the time. But I believe that ZenAssistant is a really cool concept, and because Kevon is local, I'm super excited for him to kind of share the impetus, how it all came to be, and then what makes him different, which I could tell you, but it's so much better to hear from him. So welcome, Kevon. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ted. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic. I have had a great day, and I'm excited for my audience to learn more about you because, as we have talked about before, many of them need your services, but there's a lot of things that they're unfamiliar with. And so I want you to dispel some of those myths. But before we get into all of that, tell them a little bit about you.
For sure. So I've been an entrepreneur for 6 years now, and it started when I was 19. I'm 25 now. So don't correct me if my math is wrong. But so pretty much I got into entrepreneurship when I was in I got in a car accident, and I ended up getting laid off from my job at Publix. And ultimately, I ended up starting like doing DoorDash. So I really got an urge for this freedom to go out. It was the most money I was ever making. I was making $1,000 a week, and I'm like, hey, this is amazing. So I would do that literally from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep, and then got into a relationship, and she would complain about how much I work. So for me, everything is black and white. So it's like, oh, you don't want me to work? I won't work. So then she started complaining about how I don't work. So
You
then I
can't
had
win in that, my friend.
exactly. So ultimately, what I ended up doing is creating my first company, which was a graphic design agency. So we did a lot of work for political figures that were local. And then from there, I started building tech startup companies, and I built a successful web and marketing agency as well. And now I built ZenAssistant, and we're just continuing to grow.
I love the entrepreneurial spirit. I love you dabble in or you focus on multiple things, but this one is your baby. So let's talk about how you came to be involved in the virtual assistant world.
Of course. So I've been working with virtual assistants for 4 years now, and I have this mentor, and he's extremely successful. And we met through Facebook. It was just a random encounter, and he's like, "Yeah, you want me to, you want to meet up and grab dinner?" And I'm like, "Sure." So at the time, I was not making as much money as I'm making now, and he was like, "Yeah, so we'll meet here at this restaurant." And this restaurant was expensive, and I'm like, yeah, you want to grab coffee instead because I don't know the budget. But ultimately, he was like, no, I'll take care of all of it. But the reason I give that backstory there is because, he's such an entrepreneur spirit as well. And I would talk about how I love building like innovative ideas, and I don't like to do what's already out there. But he ultimately brought up the idea of a virtual assistant agency. And it really checks all of those boxes of the things that I look for: the finance, the passive income, the level of passion and fulfillment that comes with, owning a company. Because there are some companies where you feel like you are trapped. But
Yes, absolutely.
ultimately, I went with this advice, and I moved forward with, building out this agency once I realized I wasn't passionate about my previous company. But ever since I built this out, I am helping businesses. I'm helping individuals from different countries, like literally across the world. And on top of it, I get to make a living off of that as well. And it's been amazing.
All right. So I love, again, the entrepreneurial spirit is so good. And I think there are many of us who have used a virtual assistant before. The challenge, I've shared my challenges with you in the past. The challenge has been I don't have a local person. The person who might be running the organization is not, let alone not in my city, but certainly not in my state or the country. And so you're dealing with having somebody handle some very important things for you, and you feel like you don't have a lot of control. So talk a little bit about your setup at Zen Assistant because it's different, and the involvement that you have, the level of involvement that you have, I feel like is one of the things that makes you completely unique.
Of course. So I want to highlight three different things, right? So whenever you're getting a virtual assistant, you are dealing either with a freelancer, with an agency, or you're dealing with ZenAssistant. And I want to break down the contrast between all three of those points. And with a freelancer, oftentimes you are essentially thrown into it. And it's like you have to figure out, how do I utilize this person? And sometimes we as individuals have never been able to delegate. We don't know what that looks like. We don't know what to give them, how to give it to them. So we are left to our own devices when dealing with the freelancer. And oftentimes with other agencies, it is the same case. However, now you might be dealing with another person who oftentimes isn't readily available. If your virtual assistant, gets ends up missing or something happens, then you go to them and then you get looped back in with another virtual assistant experiencing the same problems.
Yes.
Now with ZenAssistant, we like to take a different approach. We love to take a hands-on approach with our clients. We love to make sure that the virtual assistant that they're getting is with them as long as they need them. And that's actually one of the main things that we look for whenever we are hiring. We do at this point, about 50 interviews per week, looking for very qualified virtual assistants from different countries. And we really care about, the quality. And sometimes we do get a little too involved with projects, but, quality is really something that we take very seriously here as an assistant. And there have been moments where, some people won't like this, but, quality, we uphold it. But before a client even makes a decision, there have been moments where I will look at something that a VA is delivering to a client. And by the way, a VA is a virtual assistant, something that they're giving to a client. And there have been moments where I have let go of a virtual assistant before a client even made that decision, primarily because I want to make sure that, working with VAs for such a long time, I want to make sure that client doesn't have to experience the pain points that they otherwise would experience in the longevity.
That's so good. My experience with, I have a solid 6-month experience with a VA. My experience the beginning was honeymoon. The company that introduced me was great on the accountability to begin with. But then I was on my own. And so the only thing that saved me on that particular one is that I had some tools in place that were tracking oriented. And once I began to experience things that weren't positive, those tracking tools helped me solidify my decision to not be part of that relationship anymore. And I think what happens is we want the virtual assistant, but we also have to be committed to telling them or explaining to them what it is that we want. Because we all say we need help.
Of course.
We all say, I need 40 hours a week. Well, what does that look like, Ted? And I think that's where most people who want to buy into or invest in a virtual assistant fail, because they think they have all of this stuff, but they have no idea how to communicate it. And so talk a little bit about that, because I think that's one of the stepping stones or one of the blockades where people go, yes, I need one, but how am I ever going to describe to them how to get done what I need done?
I love this question. So this is actually one of the main reasons that individuals do not move forward with us, or any virtual assistant for that matter. Oftentimes it is, I am too busy to train my virtual assistant, or I am too caught up with what I'm doing that I don't exactly know what to give to them. And I love to ask our clients or whoever we're speaking with, I love to ask them the question, does more time equate to more money? Oftentimes that answer is yes. So what I will then try to frame for them is that, hey, if you were able to get back 5, 10, 20 minutes of miscellaneous, small task time, then that adds up within a week. If you think about all of the small things that you do, such as following up with people, sending out emails, checking your calendar, updating things, that can take up probably about 5 hours out of the week, if you continuously
sending the link to today so you could sign on to
podcast. But also you have to think about the mental shift that you have to make when you're locked into something, you're really focused, but you have to take away from that to now focus on something that's, smaller. So what I like to frame for them is, hey, you get a virtual assistant. You are not always meant to manage your virtual assistant. They're meant to manage you. So what we do here as an assistant is we always suggest, hey, what you should do is maybe within the first hour of your day, go ahead, hop on a video call with your VA and just walk through what you're doing. You don't even have to teach them. You can simply do what you're doing and kind of talk through it. Like, I'm sure so many of us have done those things where like you act like you're recording a YouTube video or something, like, hey guys, so today I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this, right?
Yes.
And you're like, first you click here and then you click here. And you can record those. And the virtual assistant will begin understanding that. They will learn what you're doing, why you're doing it as well, which is a huge missing piece of a lot of things that would make you delegate very effectively. Because sure, I might know what to do, but I might not know what prompts me doing that. So now, even if a virtual assistant knows what to do, they only act when you tell them to. But a great virtual assistant relationship is when you don't have to tell them what to do. They do it and you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, it's done. So right now, I have one of my virtual assistants running, my former virtual assistant, he's now running operations for our entire company.
That's
We have
amazing.
someone who's running the onboarding process for our clients and the new virtual assistants for our entire company. So yeah, there's so many different things that you can do, but I'm busy as an individual, but at the end of the day, I am very intentional on making things stick. I'm not intentional on just giving someone something and be like, hey, do it. It's more, hey, watch what I do, and then I throw them into the water. And if they have gaps, ask me.
I know the value of it, and I think people understand the value of it. I think the hiring of and the tracking of and the delegation of is where people struggle. And what I love about you all is that you're there every step of the way. I mean, their success is your success, and so of course you're vested in making sure that the relationship is solid and delivering on the things that we need delivered on, even if the person hiring the VA needs some schooling as well, which I bet we all do. I remember the first time I had my VA, I thought I sat down the night before he started, which is mistake number one. And I wrote down all of these things and I thought, how am I going to explain all of this to him? So there was not planning. And what I have heard you talk about, not only here, but before one-on-one with me, is there's so much effort that you all put into establishing that beginning part of the relationship and making sure that it grows the way it's supposed to grow and is healthy and productive. And most of the time when you hire a VA off a website or off a text message or an Instagram post, you're not getting that accountability, nor that accountability on both sides. Because as the person hiring, I would have loved somebody to say, well, Ted, you've got all of these other things. Let's sit down and figure out how to implement that into your VA's world. Absolutely. And there was none of that. And so I just love the way that you have ZenAssistant set up. I really do.
Of course. I'd love to touch on that, actually. So not only do we do 50 interviews per week, whenever agencies or whenever an individual is looking for a freelance virtual assistant, oftentimes that virtual assistant is very generalized. So they might not have experience within a specific thing. Sure, they're capable of it, but there's a lot of training that goes into there. One of the amazing selling points that ZenAssistant provides is that we provide pre-trained virtual assistants. So that's not only like, hey, do you have real estate experience, right? That is, hey, do you have mortgage brokerage real estate experience with this specific CRM? And are you also able to make phone calls and work with AI? Yes. So what we do is we will find someone down to the specific task that a client is looking for. And if we are unable to, we haven't encountered it yet, but if we are unable to, then we will make sure that we are at least able to train that VA to be capable of doing those things. So yeah, we put in a lot of work to make sure that our clients are satisfied and are set up for success. We even host weekly webinars that are completely free. We provide a chat channel where you can speak directly with your virtual assistant, with your account manager, completely with your membership as well. And we do not close our webinars to anyone also.
I love the involvement that you have, because that's really what I think most of us on the side of who want to hire a VA struggle with. We don't, like, I was, as you're talking, I'm thinking, well, I've got this CRM and I've got this particular thing. And if you're like me, or you're like any entrepreneur, you've got 85 different fires going out in 10 different industries. Like, it's just, and so for you to stop and think about it, we get caught up and we're thinking, well, I don't have time for that. Well, if you could make the little bit of time and do some pre-planning with you and your team, you would be able to address the things that are giving you anxiety, that are taking your time, that are making you less productive. And that's what I love about how you all approach things. I've never, when we first met and you told me about your program, I've never met anybody who approaches it that way. The company that I had before, nothing against them, but it was like, okay, Ted, here's your assistant.
Yes.
Go forth and do good.
I'm probably work for a pool company or something like it.
And I had no idea. There were a lot of power outages. We talked about that. So
yes.
But
so
there was
even with that, we provide temp VAs as well in the event that something happens.
You built it out and answered all of the questions. And that, so as we start to wrap up, what I want people to know is that this is different. So if you've had an experience with a VA or a company that says or touts that they will be with you every step of the way, Kevon and his team actually are. They're setting you up for success. And so they will walk you through, create the plan, because if your VA isn't successful, they're not successful. So everybody wants to be successful in this. And so what I loved most about, besides he's got a great smile and he's very charismatic and he's very passionate about what he does, is the fact that he's thought it through. There's a foundation. There are processes that you have thought through, and so many what ifs. And that's the thing that I think most people miss out on the VA, and why they're afraid to try it, or they've tried it and they've been burned. All right, Kevon, tell us the best way they can find out more about you, sign up for your webinars, get more information, because I really do want you, all of you people who cry to me about you being so busy you can't get stuff done, I want you to reach out to Kevon and talk about a plan. That's what I want. So tell them how they can reach you.
Of course. So in the bottom scroller, you'll see ZenAssistant.co. If you go there, there are so many different buttons and call to actions on our website where you can either schedule a time to have a conversation. You can immediately purchase a plan if that's something that you're interested in, and our team will contact you. But we are completely open and accessible. So you can call us, you can email us, you can message us as well. And we'd be more than happy and honored and privileged to be able to assist you with getting more time back.
Fantastic. Don't you love the name ZenAssistant? You want some
Yes.
Zen in your life? So thank you so much, my friend. Thanks again for your patience. You all reach out to Kevon. I promise you, you will love the conversation, and he will get you with the right person that fits the need, and he will work with you to get to that, because most of you are running around going, I have no idea how I even get to that point. And him and his team will help you. All right, my friend, thank you so much. You guys reach out to Kevon, and we will see you soon. Bye, everybody.